everybody? Welcome to a new episode of DFV. I am Blak Cinephile.
I'm AKA Brad.
That is AKA Brad. Brad, how's it going, man? How you been doing?
I've been doing good. Preparing for Halloween, which we have two good movies to kind of start setting the Halloween horror spirit.
Remind me, what we got coming up?
So today we are talking about Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland. Two, basically these are movies that are 100% made for me. I'm pretty sure, as I love comedic horrors. I absolutely love these kinds of movies, and yeah, this is one episode I've been waiting for us to kind of pick up for a bit.
I never tapped you for a scary movie guy.
So like I can't get into like slasher horror movies. I can get into.
I mean, like those, like the Wayans brothers, like their scary movie franchise.
Oh, okay. Those ones are iffy. Like some of them, I'll get a good laugh out of some of those movies, but
you don't like the
overall,
first two, the first classic two.
Oh, the first one is great. The second one, it kind of starts to fall off for me.
Wow.
And I haven't seen any past the third.
Oh, yeah, the third is just, that's when the Wayans brothers pieced out, and that's when it really got bad. That one's not too bad, but that was the beginning of the end for the scary movies.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them past the third one, so I don't even know if there are any past the third one.
Okay. All right. There's many. But
I gotta believe. Well, I know they also started venturing off, and they did like the superhero movie and the action movie, and yep.
Yeah, date movie was so stupid. But that's kind of how that stuff is, some of that stuff can kind of die out the more Hollywood puts their effort into it and overdoes it.
Yeah, they saw it work the first time, and they're like, I'm sure it'll work the 57th time as well.
Yeah. All right, man. So, okay. So Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead. Which one you want to go with first?
So for this one, I'm thinking chronological, which would put Shaun of the Dead first.
Okay. A little risky, but I kind of like it.
So, do you want me to take this one, or do you want to take this one?
Oh, this is your boy. I'll let you take this one over.
Okay, so from the greatest director of all time, completely undefeated, Edgar Wright, comes his debut feature or film feature, Shaun of the Dead, following the story of Shaun, played by Simon Pegg, and his buddy Ed, played by Nick Frost, as they try and survive a zombie apocalypse that has come into their small town. So throughout the movie, they are trying to get to the bar known as the Winchester, and on their way, they pick up Shaun's mom, Shaun's ex-girlfriend, along with Shaun's ex-girlfriend's roommates, in order to get to safety and find a way to get to the Winchester, have a pint, and wait for this to all blow over.
Mm-hmm.
That is the bare bones description of this movie. And my God, I don't even know how many times I've seen this movie. I could pretty much go, play by play of this movie at this point.
I mean, I imagine you can. This is your boy. Oh no, this isn't his debut film. It's another film called Fistful of Fingers. I thought it was his debut.
Oh, that's right. So Fistful of Fingers was kind of a Western kind of parody movie. Mm-hmm. It didn't get a theatrical release, though, if I recall.
Oh, okay.
It was one that he made. It was what he made prior to working on the show Spaced, which was where he first met like Simon Pegg and started working on kind of the Cornetto trilogy of movies that would end up being Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and At World's End.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll give you a story about when I first saw this film, because this definitely isn't my first time seeing it. I believe it was me and my cousins, who are like brothers to me. We were at my grandma's house, and we just rented a comedy from Blockbuster. She didn't watch it with us, of course, but we said, let's get this. This looks kind of funny. And when we watched it, it took us a while to adjust to the British humor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think my interaction with British humor around that point was like the original Office series, but that's more cringe British humor. This
Yeah,
was
it's a
more
different kind of British humor.
right. This is more slacker British humor. So we kind of had to adjust a little bit, but as the film went on, we started busting out laughing. We started having a good time. You know, Nick Frost was pretty much the main reason before that on first watch. You know, he
Mhm.
was just hilarious. You know, we just really liked him. And you know, watching the film on you know, multiple rewatches, dude, Edgar Wright, you know, I haven't seen his first film that you mentioned, but from this film alone, like you know, he has a real knack for knowing how he wants every shot to be. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a stickler for that, which is one of the reasons why he has some. I guess the contention between him and Marvel occurred
Hmm.
with the whole Ant-Man movie is because he writes the movie and he knows exactly how every scene is going to be filmed before they even walk on set. And he makes sure that every scene is filmed exactly how he has it written.
Hmm.
So he doesn't do any kind of ad-libbing, he doesn't do any kind of like on the fly recording of scenes or anything like that. Everything that you see on in the movie was pre-planned, written and everything like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I think that takes a lot. It's when you have an attitude like that and you stick the landing when you do it, that takes a lot of talent. And you know,
mhm.
he showed great talent from this second to debut film right here, man. Uh Looking back on it today, I still think it's a funny movie. Like it
Mhm.
does make me laugh. I don't I don't put it up there with with the World's End and Hot Fuzz though. But that's just me. I think with me, this film takes a while for me to get used to its humor. Whereas when I watch World's End and Hot Fuzz, I'm immediately in. You know what I'm saying? This film, like with this main character of Shaun, it kind of took me a while to kind of rock with Shaun and his like midlife crisis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely more on like the relatable side of comedy where it's
Hmm.
going this is a normal guy, he works a job at a electronics store that he doesn't like, he feels trapped there.
Hmm.
He has a stepdad that he doesn't like. He, has two roommates, one of which is a complete slacker who doesn't get anything done ever and basically is just mooching off their friendship, and then another roommate that absolutely hates that roommate.
Hmm.
So you I think a lot of the great comedy here comes from the characters and not the situation.
Yeah.
This is one of those zombie movies that honestly you could have any kind of event happening that puts them in this situation and it would play out the exact same because the characters are what makes this movie. You have the situation between Ed the entire movie as the comedic relief because he just doesn't do anything. When they leave for work in the morning, they come back and he's like, "Do you like how I cleaned up? Nothing's been done." Yeah, I had a couple beers and I put those away.
See, he sold me on the scene where he's in the bar and he's talking to Shaun after him and his girl just broke up because she's tired of his, you know, basically tired of his slackerness and you know not committing to the relationship and everything,
Mhm.
or not committing to put time and effort into a relationship by setting up it was a dinner reservation, right?
Yeah, the dinner reservation for the fish restaurant.
Yeah, I like how he's talking with Shaun. He says she doesn't like coming to the Winchester. These are very palpable, complex characters here. He goes, "What's complex about them? Oh, you see that guy behind the bar there? He used to be in the mob. Old girl over there, she set the world record for what was it? What did he say?
Oh
He said
God.
interracial porn loop or something like."
She was in the very first like interracial porn movie.
I just started laughing. He's coming up with different backstories for all these characters, and I don't know if he's lying or not. But the scene is so funny how Edward Wright does the extreme kind of close ups on the people with the
Mhm.
dramatic music as he's talking, and the whole time Shaun is just laughing like we're laughing.
Oh yeah. And that's one thing that I think Edgar Wright's humor definitely exceeds at is his camera angles and camera work. Like the first scene that we're first introduced to Shaun and the entire crew, where it looks like it's just Shaun at dinner with his girlfriend due to the angles and everything. And then she starts talking about Ed, his roommate, and she goes, "No offense, Ed." And then it pans to show that he's been sitting there the entire time. Then it goes to Shaun talking. It looks like he's just talking to his girlfriend. And then he starts talking about her roommates and he goes, "No offense to you." And then it pans and it's just, it's the comedic element of the unexpected with the camera angles that work so well, especially with those fast zoom kind of camera work. I absolutely love it. It's a style that he has perfected, even in this movie already.
Dude, I gotta say, man, this is a testament to this dude's acting. I love how much Dylan Moran made me hate David. Like,
Yeah.
I hated David this whole movie. And and it's like he's such the he plays the girlfriend prick friend so well that secretly likes the girlfriend. Like he
Mhm.
does it so well in this movie.
Yeah, I love how they constantly put him up with Ed. Like he thinks himself as like a better person in every way, but every scene that he's in, he's literally doing the same thing as Ed. He's just standing around, not
Hmm.
doing anything, pretty much just sitting slack-jawed and complaining about the situation they're in. He
Right.
has absolutely nothing to add to the group whatsoever, but he acts like he's the smartest person in the group. And it's like everybody knows that person that just accomplishes nothing, but they act like they're the hottest shit in the world.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. And here's the thing, like the most the person that has most of their life together in the film is Pete.
Yes.
And like it sucks that Pete got bit, and Pete's the main one trying to tell Shaun, like, Shaun, get your life together. Ed is an idiot. You guys are up in the morning listening to what was it, techno or
Techno.
something. He's coming in like, I got work in the morning. Like he's the only one that's actually like a got it together type of dude.
Right.
And I love how
You
they're
can
just
tell that he pays most of the bills in that rent situation they're in.
right, right. And you could tell the different dynamics between him and Shaun towards Ed when he says, "Hey Ed, how about today? If anyone calls, you make notes on them calling. Yes."
Or no,
And then
you take the messages for everybody, not just yourself.
right, right. And then when he leaves, Shaun says to him like, "Look, man, can you take the messages?" He said, Are you really gonna do that?" He goes, "I'm not gonna do whatever he says. I'm not gonna do anything he says. Just can you do it for me?" And that it showed the character dynamic between them well. But I mean, if you're not there yet, I wanted to comment on the climax.
Yeah, we can jump to it.
Yeah, man, that scene with him and his mom. I remember when I first saw this movie, it really hit me. I was like, oh man, because like there are a few deaths that are dark in the film, but that kind of hit the hardest. You know what I'm saying? Him
Mhm.
having to like shoot his moms. Because throughout in the beginning of the movie, they don't have a good relationship, you
Yeah,
know?
they have a very strained relationship, and a lot of it seems to come from the fact that he doesn't have a good relationship with his stepfather.
Right. Right. Yeah, that scene hit pretty hard. And then it was the I believe it was the cut to black, and then they showed the epilogue of how everything went uh since the zombie apocalypse.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what did you feel about that whole climax outside of that scene?
So the way that the movie kind of like ends before that epilogue, and we get to Shaun has to deal with losing, his mother. Previously, he lost his stepfather after finally coming to terms, with him and everything like that, which is another great moment in the car. And then
Mm.
it's after that he loses Ed, his best friend, in the cellar of the Winchester. So it comes down to he's literally lost everything. He's there with his ex-girlfriend and they're about to jump into like the horde of zombies because the Winchester is no longer safe. And that's when the British military shows up and starts, taking out the horde that's around them and saves them and everything. And it's like one of those feel good moments, but it's like he's lost so much at that point that it's insane. Then we have the epilogue showing how people reacted to the zombie apocalypse, and it's like it's so on the nose of just insanity where people made like a game show of using zombies, for entertainment. You have the documentary of I had to kill my parents. The newscasters kind of, being interviewed by other newscasters is I can't believe that I had to say those kinds of things on TV. It's an insane, and everybody else has just kind of moved on. It's no longer a thing.
Right. And I love the touching but messed up moment at the end where Shaun is playing the game with his boy, the
Oh
zombified
yeah.
Ed, and Ed's just pushing the button, not knowing what he's doing on the
Right, yeah.
controller.
I
Yeah.
said no biting.
Right, right, right. I was gonna say something else about this movie. This movie, one thing I always remember from it is that it had common sense in that when a zombie apocalypse happens, why wouldn't people just put on like kind of like what Bill Murray did in Zombieland, put on some
Mm.
makeup and just walk around going, "Ugh," and walk slow and act like them. Like that is kind of genius to do.
I mean, almost every kind of like zombie movie or TV show has used that in some regard. You
Was
know,
it after this movie? Because I never seen it before this movie.
uh, I doubt it because I mean, even this movie does it very lightly with them just kind of acting like they're zombies with the walk when they're trying to get to the Winchester.
Right.
So it's not like the full effect of it. I want to say that it might be like The Walking Dead that really popularized the idea of doing that, like the comics.
Oh, well, that don't count, man. I'm talking about cinema.
I'm trying to think of like what other like zombie movies before this would have like majorly did that because you didn't have that in. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen it in any before this movie. So I may be wrong, but I feel like that was genius of the movie to introduce that and have it be a great comedic moment.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, having them like do their zombie impressions and everything. Uh
Right.
Especially the one for Sean's mom when she's going through the list and she's just there slackjaw looking off into space. Oh, that's perfect. You're doing great. Oh, sorry, dearie. I kind of zoomed out there. What were you saying?
Right, right. Yeah, I in hindsight, this is still a pretty impressive debut. Overall, I give it a 3.5.
This one's a 5
Nope.
for me. I
Yep.
absolutely love the comedic take of it,
Nope.
the camera work of it, the comedy of it.
Yep.
I don't like I said, I have no idea how many times I've seen this film, but it's enough that I could give an entire play by play of this movie basically from memory.
You can give a whole course on it, huh?
Pretty much. I probably could give like an hour lecture on just the camera work and the use of like comedy alone to fill the scenes and give character development. Because I love this. I've seen like interviews, every like audio doc or not audio documentary, audio commentary and everything that's basically exists for this.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. It is your boy.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I'm all set on that one. You got anything else you wanted to talk about?
I mean, I could fawn over this movie for another couple hours if you have the time.
All right, folks, we're gonna move on. All right, we're gonna. I shouldn't even ask anything. We're gonna move on. Zombieland. All right, I'll take this one over if you don't mind.
I'll let you have this one.
Yeah, let me have this one. Okay, so Zombieland. So this is by oh, I didn't know this was a debut. This was the theatrical debut of director Ruben Fleischer, known for this movie, 30 Minutes or Less, another funny movie, Venom 1. And this basically deals with another zombie apocalypse, and it deals with a main character, a geek, kind of a geeky guy, geeky video game nerd. We call him in the film Columbus because when he meets another survivor of the apocalypse, Tallahassee, played by Woody Harrelson, he introduces the idea of let's not call each other by our real names. No emotional contact that way. So anyway, it, he is the narrator in this film. He, through a great opening, great montage, talks about the rules of survival in Zombieland, meaning when a zombie apocalypse hits society. And as he goes down to different types of rules, you get these great, hilarious, gory clips of people failing these rules. And I gotta say, before I move on, the way Ruben Fleischer like handles these gory scenes, like the fact that he was able to do it in a comedic way without it coming off disturbing, like that takes talent.
Yeah, this movie is pretty gory too when
Yeah,
you look through it,
yeah, it
and
is.
it,
I haven't
it
seen it in a while.
yeah, it almost to like a disturbing degree in some scenes, but it because he always has it kind of coming in as a comedic effect, you don't take it as gory as say something from Saw or from something else.
Yeah, I mean there are some disturbing moments, but I feel like they pale in comparison to the humor effect. Is what I mean.
Hmm.
It doesn't take itself too seriously,
Right.
which is great. So it establishes tone very well. So anyway, Columbus and Tallahassee. Tallahassee is like this, this tough cowboy that really loves Twinkies and is searching across the landscape for Twinkies because he can't seem to find any. They band together and they come across two sisters, Wichita and Little Rock. They're scammers. And they initially take their ride and jack them, but through funny circumstances, they end up being reunited and trying to figure out how they're going to survive this apocalypse. Wichita is trying to take her little sister Little Rock to like this Adventureland, like this amusement park place, because Little Rock wants to see it so bad.
Yeah, Adventureland's a different movie that the entire cast is also in.
It's just Jesse, right? Jesse's just in that movie.
So is Emma Stone, I
Nah,
believe.
Kristen Stewart's in Adventureland. I don't think Emma
Oh,
Stone's
is
in
it?
that movie.
Oh, okay. I might be mixing it up.
But you beat me to the punch. I was gonna make a joke, like pun intended. You beat me to the punch. But yeah, basically that's their objective. And Columbus has nothing left. Tallahassee has nothing left. So throughout the film, they do kind of become a family. That's more so towards the end, but it's
Hmm.
really about these people who couldn't be any more alike, couldn't be any more different. That's what I mean to say. Coming together as a family and surviving together in these times. And I gotta say, man, with the great humor, the heart packs a wallop too. Like Jesse Eisenberg, in some films I take him or leave him. Of course, I loved him in Social Network, but there's some films he's in. He was an all right Lux Luthor, but like I can take it. I take his awkwardness sometimes with a grain of salt in some films. In this
Hmm.
film, he's perfect.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
For some reason, him in like a zombie apocalypse situation, his like kind of lovable awkwardness, it works out perfectly when it comes to him meeting new people, when it comes to him explaining the rules that he has, and even his like cowardice to jump into situations. Like one of his rules being don't be a hero, meaning
Mm-hmm.
don't be the one that's going to try and show off and do something. Let somebody else show off because that's how you survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I love that too. And I feel like this whole cast, like these main four cast members, with I think Abigail Breslin is kind of, when it comes to chemistry, you see it with Jesse, Woody, and Emma. Abigail is a little weak, but even as a weak link, she's still pretty good with the cast. I just
Right.
think she's I don't think her comedic timing is as great as everyone else's, but she meshes well. She holds her own for her little small role as the little sister. I think the chemistry here was off the chart, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I Woody Harrelson had me cracking up. Him and his interactions with Abigail Breslin had me cracking up. They go into Bill Murray's house, and she's like, "I don't know who that is. Hey, I never hit a kid before."
Great.
I'm like, the way he says that and just pauses.
I think the scene is also great because it's like, we're in the house of Bill Murray. Who's that? Who's that? That's like saying, who is Gandhi? Who's that? Look, I've never hit a kid before. But
Oh, that's the line. Oh, my bad, my bad.
yeah.
Well, still, it's pretty funny. Like the way he just says that just plainly. Like, yeah, I never hit a kid before. The scene where they, the scene when they're in the souvenir shop, he comes up to Columbus. He's like, "You trying on perfume?" And then he smells him. He goes, "Hey, good luck, Petunia." And he turns around, just pays it at his neck, and then Woody looks, gives him this mad dog stare. And then Jesse's like, I think you're a great human being. Let me just say that off the rip. I was like, to say this so funny. Like, you had to have the right actors to pull this movie off.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, the chemistry between them works out because, even though you have you know, the Columbus and Tallahassee's kind of like interactions with each other as like the scared little kid and like this badass zombie survivor that's
Mhm.
not afraid of anything. And yeah, they bounce off of each other perfectly in a way that they get along well. Even in the beginning of the movie, when they first like are introduced to each other, they're like having this standoff, and Columbus kind of just does like the hiking symbol, the thumbs up, and he's like, yeah, get in the car, come on.
Mhm.
And then later when they're like stop for something, Tallahassee's like, I didn't used to get headaches before me picking you up.
Yeah, yeah, they got great lines in this movie, man. I gotta say, the most funniest scene to me is really the Bill Murray scene, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like, Bill Murray himself steals the show. Like, I love it how, now, mind you, when I first saw this movie, it was before I saw Ghostbusters. So I didn't quite get the joke with the chandelier when I first saw the movie, but now that we did our episode, like, that scene is even more hilarious to me. How they're acting out the scene with the
Oh yeah.
chandelier.
I also love that Bill Murray's not the one in costume in that scene too, which if I recall correctly, they said they couldn't have him in costume due to rights issues with Ghostbusters,
Oh wow,
which
that's
is why he's
horrible.
not in the costume in that scene, which I find even funnier that they were like, no, we're still going to do the scene. We're just going to have him hold up like a dustbuster and holding like a backpack, just a standard backpack on or something.
Well, it's Sony. Isn't Sony like kind of part of Columbia Pictures?
I don't know if it was at the time or if it was something else, but I remember them saying that it was a thing where they couldn't have him in the Ghostbusters costume during
Hmm.
that scene, which is why Tallahassee is the one wearing the costume,
Mm.
which I
And
think even works better because he's such a super fan of Bill Murray that he would be the one going, I want to wear the costume. I want to wear the costume.
right, he's quoting films, he's quoting movies to him and stuff when he's talking to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked how I like how it all comes to a crescendo when he goes up to like Tallahassee and Little Rock watching Ghostbusters,
Oh,
and he's
Columbus and Little Rock.
yeah, Columbus, and he says to Tallahassee and is her name Arkansas? Emma's name? No, Wichita.
Wichita.
He says to Tallahassee and Wichita, he says, "Hey, your buddy's in there." They say, "Yeah, he's in there." He's like, "All right, I'll give him a good scare." He puts the zombie wig back on, and he goes in there. "Rah!" And Jesse grabs the gun and just shoots him. He's like, "I got him! I got him!" He's like, they're like, "No, he wasn't a real zombie."
Yeah. Or no, Bill Murray's like, is this how you say hi to everyone, kid?
Right.
Oh yeah, the whole thing with Bill Murray, how they like play up the jokes of leading into his house, and all the references to everything in his career, him being alive and being a zombie. Even at the end when he's dying, and they're like, "Do you have any regrets?" Probably Garfield.
Hey, he makes some. Then why did you do the sequel? Didn't he do Garfield too?
Yeah, he did do Garfield too.
Those checks weren't a regret.
Yeah. I have a feeling it was probably they were like, but we'll give you an extra zero at the end of the check if you sign on for the sequel.
Then he probably goes into Garfield mode. Well, if you say so. On
Yeah.
the phone with his agent. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny, man. I like this movie, man. It really is one of my favorite comedies of all time, dude. Like even with the final showdown at the amusement park, I love the action of it. You know, I love how Tallahassee is just taking out all the zombies. Like the camera work in that scene is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Like how he goes from like, running to shooting them down to like going on the one ride where you're swirling around and he's holding on to one of the things shooting people. Then he goes in the actual cart that goes around shooting people while he's in the cart. Then
the roller coaster, yeah.
yeah, he's in the roller coaster. I said cart. And then he ends up in that
like the prize booth.
Yeah. And yeah, man, that whole thing was great, dude. That prize booth reminds me of a Grand Theft Auto Vice City mission. You might know the one I'm talking about when he's in the mall and they're shooting that movie up with the zombies.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I need to go back and play that game. I missed that game.
Yeah, that just took me way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I love that whole scene. And then Tallahassee, not Tallahassee, I keep getting their names mixed up.
Columbus
stands up against the clown, and that clown looks horrifying.
Oh, that clown was terrifying. Like, even on just regular, zombified clown has got to be like one of the top like horror icons of any movie.
You haven't seen Terrifier, have you?
No.
You wouldn't say that then. But he does look horrifying, and for him to whack him out with the whack-a-mole thing and kill him, like that was a big moment for him as a character. And I like how the thing goes from don't be a hero to be a hero.
Right, yeah, he changes his rule to don't be a hero to sometimes you got to be the hero.
It says those words, or it just says be a hero?
No, he just drops the don't and it's be a hero, okay. But he says sometimes you got to be the hero.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was a great finale, man, and I love how it just all ties itself together in the end. And even with the Twinkies, I love the fake out. How
they finally find the deep fried Twinkie stand.
Right, it did. But before Little Rock hands Tallahassee a Twinkie outside. Inside, they thought something was in the closet. And I think it was like it ended up being rats or something. It was rat,
yeah.
And then he just sees the gunshot go through the Twinkie box, and you see the amount of like defeat on Woody Harrelson's face. And Jesse Eisenberg's like, "Oh, maybe you could just go through all the
you
gun.
Can eat around the shells.
Yeah, eat around the shells." Oh man, I loved it, dude. I think this movie to me is a straight 5 out of 5. Like I find no frills throughout this 88 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Oh, I absolutely 100% agree with that. This is definitely another 5 out of 5 movie. And like even just going back and talking about the ending of this movie, I like how it does come to a nice close for all the characters, because you have, Wichita and Little Rock in a situation that they cannot get themselves out of, which is situations that they keep putting themselves in throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. This time just coming to a final crescendo with them being stuck on the rides. And then you have Columbus, having to go through and face his fears and, try and be a hero, go up against the zombies, go against all his rules to try and save them. Meanwhile, you have Tallahassee just having the best day of his life at this theme park that he was like, I'm never going there. This is that place sucks. I hate that theme park. There's nothing good there. And the girls are going there because they want to have one last fun time. They're having the worst time of their life. Columbus is facing his fears, and Tallahassee's at the park, just perfect day. He's I love when they kept switching over to him and showing him just going down, mowing down, like when he jumps on the coaster and everything. He's just all smiles, just like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's short, it's sweet. There's some great emotional moments when we get to reveal who Buck was, which was really Tallahassee's son. Yeah, overall, man, I mean, this was a short, sweet movie. Like this was like one of those films that were just great for its time and great today. Like if I put this on and watch this with my wife and some family, I know we're gonna be cracking up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One thing that I completely did not even know about this movie until I was watching this time, and I didn't even catch it while watching it, was in the credits. The roommate for Columbus is played by Amber Heard.
She wasn't a roommate. She just lived in his apartment.
Or not roommate. His neighbor, the one that comes in at the beginning.
I think I noticed that like on a second or third watch, and I said, "Wait a minute, that's Amber." Like the same thing with Never Back Down. I forgot she was in that movie, and that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I never put it together that it was her. I just happened to be going through the credits this time and everything, and I saw her name pop up, and I actually rewound. I was like, hold on, wait, let me go back to that scene. And I was watching it, I was going, that is her. Wow, okay.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. So when it all comes down to it, I know what my vote is when we do the clash here. What comes out to you as your best movie here?
Honestly, this is actually a pretty difficult one to kind of think on, but I knew that it was coming, so I've been thinking on it kind of like all week after I watch these movies, and I think that it's still Shaun of the Dead for me, because
Mm.
just the camera work, the comedy, and everything. Like British
Nope.
comedy, I know isn't for everybody,
Yep.
but I love it.
Nope.
Ever since I got introduced to Monty Python, it's just I absolutely love British comedy, and yeah, Shaun of the Dead just completely works for me. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, both of these movies I'm pretty sure were made exactly for my taste in movies.
You are
And I
the
love it.
ideal. You are the ideal audience.
Right. When they were doing the test group for it, I'm pretty sure it was another guy like me just going, no, this is what you got to do.
Mm. Yeah, I can picture that, man. I can picture that for real. Like these are a great set of movies. I was looking forward to this one. Yeah, any excuse I have to put on a good zombie comedy, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, what you been watching lately, man?
So I have actually just kind of gone back just because we were watching these, and I decided to watch the Leprechaun movie again. Uh,
With the one with Jennifer Aniston or two? Because two is the best one from what I hear.
no, the first one. I got to watch the second one again. But I kind of just threw that on after this movie, or after I think I watched Shaun of the Dead. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just keep going. What's another good like horror comedy kind of thing? And I just threw that on, and yeah, I still love that movie as well. I will say
Mm.
that. But yeah, outside of that, I caught up on the Harley Quinn show that's on HBO. Uh, that's pretty much it for me, like this week.
I keep hearing a lot of rave reviews about that. D- does it buy into the hype? I mean, not buy in, but like is the hype justified, or is like, it's all right.
I think the hype is justified on it because
Okay.
it does a very good like parody of comic book kind of characters and everything by grabbing them at like their core of the character and making it into a joke. Like you have Batman's Bruce Wayne is just being a complete idiot, but he's just so headstrong about everything. He just continually barrels in head first on things. You have the Joker just kind of coming off as like a bad ex, kind of thing. Like it
Mm.
jumps into stereotypes for these characters and it plays with them hilariously.
Okay. I got you. Hey, have you watched Atlanta yet? I haven't gotten into it yet.
I have. I think I'm caught up onto the latest episode, and yeah, this season is absolutely hitting it. I love it.
Okay. All right. I will get to it. I will get to it. I've just been slacking a little. Um, guess what I saw in the movies, man? Now, this one is something everyone's been waiting for a long time. A lot of critics have been raving it. It's gotten a little bit of a controversial reaction. I saw Lyle Crocodile.
Really,
I don't know what the critics are saying. I just wanted to see your face. Yeah, I went and saw that movie, man.
really.
My wife wanted to see something feel good, and I said, why not? Not bad, man. Not bad. It was charming. Um, I mean, it's a singing, it's a singing crocodile with the
I was
voice.
gonna say that's like a family picture kind of thing. Like I was expecting you to say that you saw the
Don't
what was
worry,
it? The
darling.
yeah, don't worry, darling. You're just like, yeah, I just saw a dancing crocodile movie.
He was singing, not dancing.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry, singing crocodile movie.
yeah, get it right. I wouldn't see a
I don't
dancing
want to hurt the
crocodile.
lore of this movie.
Right, right. Yeah, man, I thought it was pretty charming, man. It was pretty funny. I mean, it wasn't amazing. It was far from bad though. It was a pretty solid like family movie. Dude, I didn't know how funny Javier Bardem could be. Like
It-
he's
Does
pretty
he voice Lyle?
No. He plays a down on his luck magician that first adopted Lyle
Oh, okay.
because he was looking for like the next big magic trick, and a crocodile that could sing. You know, he adopted him, and you know the whole thing about. See, the point of the movie is that Lyle he's shy. He doesn't want to sing in front of large groups, but he sings to himself when music comes on because you know I don't know science. Uh, you got to turn your brain off, but you know it's
Wait,
kind
you
of
got to turn your brain off for the animated crocodile singing movie?
of course.
Tell me it's not termed into reality here.
Of course not. Dude, there's a funny scene. And you know, the movie kind of knows how silly it is. They're going to I think they're going to like a football game, and I think the name of the team is Crocodile something. Anyway, they're just walking down the street with Lyle, and they're like, aren't they gonna think he's real? No, they'll just think he's a believable mascot. And like of course no one says anything, but it's like you just gotta laugh at moments like that. But it's a pretty charming movie, dude. But Javier Bardem was pretty funny in the movie. I gotta say, he kind of stole the show a little bit. Cause like when you think of Javier Bardem, you think of No Country for Old Men, which you know ain't wasn't nothing funny about that movie. But
Right.
like he actually gave me some laughs in this movie. Like the whole cast is pretty good. Constance Wu, my man from True Detective, I forgot his actor name. He was in the third season. But yeah, the whole cast is pretty good. Shaun Mendes, of course, has a great singing voice. I would suggest watching this when it comes to streaming if you got time or you're with, you know, your nieces and nephews or something.
Okay.
I gave it a
So
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5 for Lyle Crocodile.
Yeah, solid 3. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a good time.
Have you gone to the theaters to see Clerks 3 yet?
No, I think I missed my chance, man.
And Don't Worry, Darling?
Nah, I ain't see that yet. I'm gonna wait for that to come on streaming. Yeah,
What
have you seen
about
it?
Emily the Criminal?
I thought that was on streaming. That's in theaters.
No, that's in theaters.
No, I
3,000 Years of Longing?
Look, man, I wanted to see a feel. I wanted to see a feel good movie. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I wanted to smile.
I just think it's hilarious that of all the movies that are in theaters right now, that you could be like, you won't believe what I just went and saw.
No, I know. That's I was trolling you. I knew
I
you was
know. And you hit it. That's the one movie I would have never expected you to say that you saw. You found it.
If you said Lyle Crocodile, I would have been like, I would have just stared at you and been like, yeah, that was it actually.
That was it. You're ruining my joke here.
Right. But I will tell you, I am planning on seeing Smile and Barbarian tomorrow though.
Okay. I'm curious how Smile is.
You know, I've heard surprisingly good things. You know, when I saw the trailer, I was like, as a joke, I might go see this, but I can't see how this is scary. People smiling.
I think it's supposed to. Yeah.
They say it plays it straight. There's funny moments, but for the most part, it plays it straight. I don't know. I don't know about that Amsterdam movie. That just does not look interesting to me at all.
Amsterdam. That's who's
See,
in that one?
The fact that you don't even know. Christian Bale, John David Washington, Margot Robbie.
Oh, yeah. I heard that apparently this is like one of Christian Bale's like best kind of portrayals was in that movie.
I don't know if a performance is enough to stir me in that direction, dude. Because it's just like the story doesn't look interesting to me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, that's the only thing that I've heard about the movie is like, man, Christian Bale was great in that. And it's like, what? But how was the movie? Christian Bale was absolutely fantastic in that movie.
So pretty much what you heard about Joker. Oh, Joaquin Phoenix was great.
Right.
You know, the
Joaquin
movie.
Phoenix is amazing.
You
Yeah,
know,
but how was the movie? Oh man, Joaquin Phoenix just stole the show, man. It's absolutely fantastic. You got to go see it.
right?
It's his best performance ever.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I put that performance over the master, but it's definitely up there.
It's no, I think it stands up with that one.
It stands up with it. I don't know if I put it over it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But I'm gonna see those two movies tomorrow. I'm thinking about it. See how those go. Yeah, man. I think I'm back, man. I think I'm back to movie going again.
That's good. We can start actually watching movies that are newer now.
For sure. Hey, I was going to suggest to you with Black Panther 2. No. I was talking to my wife, and she says, "Oh, Avatar 2 is coming. Y'all gonna compare it to the first one?" I said, "No, we're doing water. We're doing Water World." She goes, "What?" I was like, it's too much water.
Too much water.
She looked at me for a long time. She says, "I don't know if you guys are gonna get followers from doing that." I was like, "Just you wait and see."
I'm almost surprised she didn't go, your show's kind of stupid.
That's what her look said.
Right.
But she wanted to be nice and say, I don't know if that's a good idea. So funny. But that's it for me, man. I've just been reading The Wheel of Time, and that's pretty much it, man. I ain't really been caught up on any movies or TV shows.
Yeah, for me, it's been just easier to pop TV shows on and kind of catch like an episode here and there than watching movies because just so busy lately.
I heard Final. Now, did you and I talk about Final Space?
We did. I don't remember if we talked about it on the podcast or not, but
about it getting canceled.
Yeah, not only canceled, but basically being pulled from existence because the Blu-rays are out of print now. They never even started the printing for the third season of the Blu-ray. It's already been pulled from HBO Max, which was the streaming platform for it.
Wow.
And the only place you can stream it is internationally on Netflix right now, which once that contract ends, it's going to be wiped from existence except for copies of the first two seasons on Blu-ray.
I can't lie. We kind of should have saw this coming. When you get things streaming, you got to understand that there is a licensing that goes on, and it's like,
well, it's not even a licensing thing for this one because yes, for the Netflix International, that's a license. But HBO Max owned it. HBO owned it. Time Warner owned it. And they decided to take it off and use it as a tax write-off. So a CEO could get a bigger bonus at the end of the year.
Right. Now, I understood what happened. So let's say I get a film on Blu-ray and I have the what is it? The Movies Anywhere thing on it where I can upload it to Movies Anywhere. So let's say I lose that Blu-ray copy. If Movies Anywhere, if DreamWorks says we no longer own Shrek, does that mean I lose my copy on everything?
It could be. It's one of those things because if I recall, a lot of those contracts for like Movies Anywhere and some of those things, they're out like 20 years or something into the future for their license for it. So if DreamWorks decides to go, yeah, we don't want to put Shrek on Movies Anywhere anymore because we're going to go with Amazon's new, streaming service that's plugged in directly into people's brains through microchips instead.
That's crazy.
And it might be gone from there. We're in a weird time right now where the licensing for that kind of stuff was thrown together very quickly to meet a demand for a market, and they didn't think longevity for it. And we'll see kind of where that goes in the future.
We did talk about this. I remember now. Yeah, somewhere somebody has like 500 DVDs saying, "I knew this day was coming. Y'all didn't want to."
I told you guys so.
Y'all didn't want to listen to me. like holding them in the cradle. Now see what's happening.
Yeah. It's almost like the people that are holding on to like the VHS release of Star Wars going, look, it's the unedited version. I've been holding it this entire time. I'm not the crazy one. You're the crazy one.
It's the original negatives.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do, man? It is what it is. Was it a good show, at least?
Final Space, I thought it was a very fun show. I really enjoyed it. I was actually looking forward to seeing a fourth season from it. But yeah, when that got canceled, basically, I remember hearing about a bunch of shows getting canceled by HBO. And I was like, yeah, I warned y'all. Remember like 4 years ago when they canceled Venture Brothers? And I was like, HBO has to go.
Oh, yeah.
I warned you.
You were one of those people.
Yeah.
It's gotta hurt. Yeah. It's gotta hurt that Aqua Teen Hunger Force just came with a new movie and Venture Brothers still ain't come back, huh?
Venture Bros is getting a movie, the same that Aqua Teen is, and Metalocalypse. All three of those are coming back for a movie. I think Aqua Teen just happens to be the cheapest one, so it's the easiest one to get through first.
Oh, I shut my mouth then.
Yeah. But HBO did still cancel Venture Brothers and has not brought it back yet in capacity. So yeah, my boycotting of HBO and AT&T and Time Warner and Warner Brothers and everything else tied to them. Until we get Venture Brothers back, everything DC sucks. I'm a Marvel fanboy for life.
You're Marvel DC. I'm sorry. You're Marvel Fox Disney for life, ain't you?
Right. Yeah. Until we get Venture Brothers back, then I'll give DC another chance.
That's so fun because you sound just like the fanboys that go, this is an assault on everyone's memories, everyone's childhood. This should be stopped today.
Right. It's basically what I'm going for.
Like all the Star Wars fans that hate George Lucas, and then once George Lucas left, they had Disney, and then now they all hate Disney and want George Lucas back.
Right.
Like, this is an assault on everything we love.
This isn't the Star Wars I remember. I thought Star Wars before wasn't the Star Wars you remember. Yeah, that's also not the Star Wars you remember. What about the Star Wars before that? And before that? And that one?
What about the Star Wars on script when George Lucas handed the script over to Fox? Was that not the Star Wars you remember?
Yeah. Wait, where does the Star Wars you remember start? Is it before or after the Christmas special?
Oh, dude, there's a documentary called The People versus George Lucas. That is a great documentary, dude, because everyone is like, it shows how toxic the Star Wars fan base can be. And
that's the one that came out after episode 1, right?
It came out around 2010.
Oh, okay. So that was after the entire pre-trilogy.
Right. Now, I get that you love something so much that the creator can kind of mess they can make choice. It's their work, it's their art, mm-hmm. but they can make choices that doesn't connect to you as a fan. And you can be like, dang, man, like, I like this character. Why did you change this character? Han shot first. I get it, but come on, man. It's a movie.
Mm-hmm. Lucas is just a strange kind of case for that kind of stuff, because his philosophy on movies is a movie is never done. It can be released 10 years ago, but it's mm-hmm. still never done. Right. And it's a weird philosophy to have. And I think he's one of the only directors that I've heard say something similar, or to even go back to their previous work and tinker with it.
Francis Ford Coppola has done it.
Has he?
Yeah. He tinkered with Godfather 3, The Cotton Club, and I forgot another one. He might have touched. Apocalypse Now has many cuts.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that holds like a Guinness World Record for most kind of like cuts of a movie that are released to the public.
Yeah, each of the cuts are great, but it's like you don't need to make that many cuts. It's like the movie's good on its own. But yeah, he's done that.
Yeah, but it's still a rare thing for a director to go back on a movie that they made years ago and still be working on it or adding to it or taking away or updating it. And so, yeah, it brings up a lot of controversy with fans. They're like, this isn't the version I grew up with. And it's like, yeah, you're right. It's not the version you grew up with. It's the new version for a new generation.
Exactly. Like, I don't like Jar Jar Binks, but I understand he's for the kids, you know. Um, yeah, I mean, I may have like, well, I was kind of young when Phantom Menace came out. I didn't think one way about Jar Jar Binks one or the other, but I didn't mind him, you
Yeah.
know. Uh, yeah, man, it's like here's the encapsulation of the entire documentary. One guy is in the beginning talking. It's a British fella. It's like, don't ever say to me it's just a film. Don't ever say it's just a film. It's my life. I love Star Wars. And then the title comes up, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be one of those films.
See, as somebody that has seen the Star Wars movies and has no other feelings toward them one way or the other.
Right.
But yeah, you can tell that it's any fan base that gets too large always has a toxic side to it. But then you can also find like those, diehard fans and everything. Like one thing that I think it's Christian Haydenson and like Ewan McGregor have been saying in the last couple of years.
Christian Hansen. You mean Hayden Christensen?
Hayden
Christensen?
Hayden Christensen. God damn. Yeah.
What were you thinking of? Chris Hansen?
No.
Hey, Brad, why don't you take a seat over there for me?
Yeah, I think I think the podcast is over now. But yeah, one thing that they've been saying.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, one thing that they've been saying lately is how, when they were first making the prequel trilogy, there was so much hate thrown at them because it wasn't the Star Wars that people had grown up with. And now the people that grew up with that Star Wars are the ones that they're seeing come out and be like, you are my Star Wars. So it's definitely a generational thing.
Yeah,
when it comes down to it.
Kids are growing up with the Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
I mean, I think pretty much everybody in the Star Wars community loves the Mandalorian, though. I have yet to hear somebody go, I don't like that show.
I mean, that may be true. I still haven't seen it yet, but what I mean is kids are growing up with that show.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have a different perspective on the rest of the movies based on what they're growing up with now.
Yeah. All right, I think that's a good cutoff time here. I think we covered a myriad of topics, including our two highlighted films. Nope. But all right, y'all, we will catch you on the next one. Take care, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining the chat, and goodbye. Yep.